Hi there. If you're over 70 or close, you'll understand exactly what I'm about to say. I stopped visiting people. I just stopped. No more coffee visits. No more dinner invitations. No more long drives to see relatives who barely looked up from their phones. And guess what? I never looked back. Today, I want to tell you why. Not out of bitterness. Not out of anger. But from peace. This wasn't a decision I made overnight. It grew over time, quietly like gray hair. And now, at 73, I look back and smile. Because I finally put myself first. So here are 6 honest reasons why I stopped visiting people after 70, and why, if you're feeling drained, you just might want to consider doing the same. 1. My energy became precious. When you're in your 30s, you bounce from one house to another, parties, dinners, barbecues, sometimes all in one weekend. But after 70, something changes. Energy is no longer a bottomless cup. It's a treasure. And I realized I was spending mine on the wrong people. I'd drive an hour to visit someone who didn't even brew fresh tea.
Idée arrive exhausted.
They'd talk about themselves. And after an hour, I'd feel like I had nothing left.
No gratitud. No worms.
Just fatigue. Then one day, after a particularly tiring visit to an old friend who barely asked how I was, I sat in the car and said, "Why am I doing this?" The answer was guilt, obligation, habit, not love. And I knew then that my energy, my mornings, my clarity, my strength deserved better. I wasn't being selfish. I was being wise. Now, I spend my mornings walking slowly in the garden, not sitting in traffic. I listen to music that lifts me. I write letters instead of sitting on someone's couch, staring at a TV show I don't care about. If you're over 70, ask yourself, who truly gives back to your soul when you visit them? If the answer is no one, maybe it's time to stop. 2. The conversations became I started
empty.
noticing it around 68. I'd go visit someone and we'd talk for hours, but nothing would be said. No deep sharing. No real memories. Just gossip, complaints, and reruns of old arguments. How's your son? Still unemployed. Oh, and what about your knee? Worse.
Ah.
You know who died? Shazia's cousin's husband. That was the tone.
No laughter. No imagination. No dreams.
It was like sitting in an echo chamber of complaints. One day, I realized we weren't connecting. We were filling silence with noise. And silence on its own is peaceful. Why replace it with meaningless talk? I began choosing solitude over shallow company. And in that quiet, I rediscovered things I had forgotten. I started reading poetry again. I took up sketching. I even tried meditation. I spoke to myself more than anyone else. And those conversations were deeper than the ones I had in living rooms filled with noise. When you're young, you tolerate shallow talk because you're hopeful it'll get better. But after 70, we've earned the right to be around meaning. And if we don't find it in others, it's okay to stop looking. 3. Reciprocity disappeared. For years, I'd check in on people. I'd call. I'd visit. I'd bake something and show up, unannounced but warm. But then I noticed no one did the same for me. I was always the one knocking. Always the one remembering birthdays. Always the one asking, "How are you really?" And slowly, I began to understand a painful truth. Not everyone values you the way you value them. After 70, that truth becomes hard to ignore. So, I made a small promise to myself. If someone doesn't call, I won't call twice. If someone forgets my birthday, I'll remember theirs silently, but I won't reach out. It's not bitterness. It's balance. Some people only value you when you put in effort. When you stop, their silence says it all. So I stopped. And yes, some people faded away. But that left space, precious space, for people who genuinely cared. People who showed up. People who called just to ask how I slept. Reciprocity is not a transaction. It's a mirror. And after 70, we deserve relationships that reflect kindness, not just demand it. 4. My peace became sacred. After years of working, raising kids, surviving heartaches and losses, peace finally came. And I refused to let people disturb it. Visiting others often meant stepping into chaos. Children screaming, loud televisions, unfinished arguments, people talking over each other, and me, sitting there, quietly, wondering why I left my peaceful little home. Peace is not overrated. It's rare. After 70, when life finally slows down, you begin to value what you used to ignore. The sound of birds, the smell of tea, the way sunlight falls on your kitchen table. And you start guarding that peace like a precious stone. So I stopped visiting people who brought noise. And the more I said no, the more I felt whole. It's not just about physical noise. It's emotional noise too.
Drama.
Complaints, judgments, arguments over politics, bitter stories repeated like old songs. I chose silence. I chose stillness. And in that stillness, I found a version of myself that I had missed for years. 5. Some people never grow. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's true. Some people never grow. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not intellectually. I'd visit old friends and realize they were still stuck in the same loop, blaming the same people, telling the same stories, hating the same things. It was like entering a time capsule. I, on the other hand, had grown. Quietly, maybe, but surely. I had learned forgiveness. I had softened. I had let go of grudges. And I found myself surrounded by people who hadn't. Growth is lonely, because not everyone comes with you. So instead of dragging them forward or letting them pull me backward, I simply let go. And that meant fewer visits, fewer reunions, fewer forced conversations with people still chasing the past. Now I seek people who grow with me, or I walk alone. Because both are better than staying stuck. Point 6. I found myself in solitude. There's something beautiful that happens when you spend time alone. Not lonely, just alone. You meet yourself. For the first time in decades, I had real conversations with me. What do I really want to eat? Do I enjoy this movie, or am I watching it out of habit? What makes me feel truly alive? Solitude gave me answers that visits never did. I discovered I liked jazz music. I rediscovered faith. I started writing letters to my younger self. I began walking barefoot in the morning grass, drinking water from a clay pot, and watching the sunset without taking a single photo. I wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. I was just living. And I realized some of the most important moments of your life happen when no one else is around. After 70, the world wants you to fade into the background. But I used solitude to become brighter inside. So yes, I stopped visiting people. But I started visiting myself. And I found someone wonderful waiting. So, if you're wondering whether it's okay to stop visiting people after 70, let me tell you, not only is it okay, it might be the best gift you can give yourself. It's not about isolation. It's about liberation. Not about pushing people away, but about drawing yourself closer. I'm still kind, still loving, still open to those who bring warmth. But I no longer chase company. I no longer perform politeness. I no longer give my precious hours away out of guilt. I stopped visiting people after 70, and I've never felt more at peace. Because I've learned something many never do. You don't owe your presence to anyone who doesn't cherish it. So, if your heart is tired, let it rest. If your soul is craving silence, honor it. If your time feels wasted, reclaim it. You've earned it.